Awesome.
Hi everyone, I'm Xiaoming. This is Justin and Jeremy. They are my teammates for Food Help, and we've been working together for the past 4 to 5 months. And today we are here to present to you this idea that we're going to call DARE. I'll let my teammates tell you more about it.
Yeah, it sounds good. So again, thank you for having us here today. We're really excited to present the work that we've been doing on DARE. Just to kind of give you some context around how DARE came about and how Hood Help as an organization came about. So I joined, we're both from Wisconsin originally, we're brothers, and went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I moved out to be a product manager at Intuit, QuickBooks, Quicken, TurboTax about 4 years ago, and was very active in the nonprofit community and was volunteering. And Jeremy actually followed suit about 2 years after that to come out and join Intuit as a product manager. And we wanted to become really involved in the community and becoming more active in the volunteer areas and giving back to the community of San Francisco. And in the course of that, I guess we really found out that there were a tremendous amount of inefficiencies in the way that money flows through this networking of giving, both as it relates to how people, donators, give to nonprofits and support causes they care about, but then also I think the interesting angle around how brands engage in that whole network of giving. And so what DARE is really all focused about is how to make that a much more efficient process, and ultimately, as our goal is to make donations entirely free. So I'll let Jeremy take over the, you want me to do the transitions here?
Yeah, that'd be good. You might have to, no, I can click it. That's
okay.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, as Justin said, my name's Jeremy, and we're gonna kind of set the problem up. He kind of told you guys what the story is and how we kind of all came together. He left out where Xiao comes in.
Sorry.
So maybe you can touch on that part.
Yeah. So Xiao. So now I work at Gigya, a software company with Xiao, and so the magic just happened. We just connected one day in the break room and said, "Hey, we've got a really interesting concept, and we need a guy that's really passionate about it." And Xiao had been working at the World Toilet Organization in Singapore, and so it just kind of interests aligned. And
The World Toilet Organization is a non-profit.
Nonprofit in Singapore, yeah, and was just really passionate about it. And so we joined forces to become the Hood Help team. So.
Yeah, so we're going to try and kind of frame up the problem that Justin was just talking about. So I think the case that we're making is the traditional model of donations and fundraising is broken. So let's kind of identify the three key stakeholders. So there's the consumers like you and I. There's the nonprofits that we're passionate about. Maybe it's the San Francisco Food Bank. You know, there's literally millions of them. And then there's the brands like McDonald's, Apple, Adidas. There's also maybe hundreds of thousands of those as well. And today, I think the case that we're making is consumers want to give to brands, both financially and with their time, but either their wallets are a little light or, you know, we're all pretty busy with our day-to-day, so we don't necessarily have the time or the money to make the impact that we want to make. And then there's these brands who are sending over all of these messages to us, trying to communicate to us, tell us how awesome they are through Facebook, through TV, through, I don't know if anybody still does radio, online, you know, whatever the channel is, but we basically put up our little shields to navigate through this very cluttered water of ads. And then how brands interact with nonprofits is actually pretty interesting. So a lot of bigger brands and even some smaller brands have some corporate sustainable responsibility initiatives where they're donating. And some of them view that as a marketing arm. Some of them view it as a way to retain employees and connect with the causes that their employees care about. But essentially, it's all leading up to a pretty inefficient advertising model where you can see only certain messages are getting through. Fewer donations are actually being made because the brands don't really see the point if it's really just an employee retention play. And consumers, the average consumer really doesn't have the financial means to make an impact for the average nonprofit. So this is how we plan on fixing it. So this is kind of a high-level overview, and then we're going to do a deep dive on the product. So still the same stakeholders, a little bit more color because we think this is a little bit more of an exciting model. So we don't want to stop consumers from donating to causes. We think that's still well and good. If you want to give your money, that's awesome. But what we really want to do is allow you to connect with a brand to actually make an impact, which should accelerate the amount of money that goes to a nonprofit. So we're really bringing the brand into the forefront of that conversation by enabling a consumer and a brand to connect in a way that they never really have been doing. And we hope this enables more efficient ad spend, higher brand engagement, and more sponsored causes, which is ultimately what we're here to do, is get nonprofits more funding to deliver on their missions. Yeah, so kind of the takeaway, creating a platform where consumers can engage with brands to kind of earn this donation power where they might not have the financial means to do it themselves.
And we haven't officially trademarked the name, but this notion of philanthropy, the ability to actually be able to give in the notion of causes that you love and care about for free.
Yeah, so what we're really talking about is it's really a platform. So we're working on mobile right now, but we want to expand on the web where users can come in and activate these branded challenges and rewards to actually earn donations from a brand that would ultimately go towards a cause that they care about. So how it works is brands and actually users can create these cause-related challenges, and we'll get into an example in a second. Users complete these branded challenges, whether it's on the web, on the phone. There's actually a pretty broad spectrum of what the challenges could be. And then users and employees vote on where those donation dollars go. So the more challenges get racked up, the more points users earn, and then those get bucketed and equated into dollars and actually donated to nonprofits. So what Justin already alluded to is what we're really in the game of doing is making donations free to the end user, bringing the brand into the forefront of the conversation, and getting more money to the nonprofits. So here's just an example to put it all into context. So we're going to use Jeff. Jeff is an avid Coke fan, and he also loves the environment, if you can see the recycle logo on his t-shirt. Let's just say Jeff comes to our platform, and he sees this opportunity to accept this challenge that Coca-Cola has put out there. They say you can recycle all of your Coke cans into art, and if you do this, take a picture of it and upload it to our site, then you're going to earn 300 points. So let's say Jeff completes this challenge. I'm sorry, it's not 300, it's 400. And you can't see that, but Jeff crafted a little piece of art in the form of photography when he used recycled Coke cans, and he can cash that in to donate to a cause that he cares about. Let's just say it's Greenbelt Alliance. And we didn't put a number on it yet, but that could be $1, $2, whatever the brand ultimately decides those points are worth. And really what this amounts to is, you can imagine Jeff's not the only one that reacts or responds to this challenge. So maybe there's 50 people, maybe there's 100 people, however much Coke wants to sponsor to create this challenge. So they're basically getting all of this user-generated shareable content at the cost of what it would cost to donate to a donation, or to a nonprofit, excuse me. And all the while, they're building a deeper relationship with Jeff. Do you guys have anything to add?
No, that was good.
Okay. Any questions so far?
Maybe we'll save them to the end because we got to go.
Okay, we got to fly.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So I think getting back to the notion and this model of philanthropy is really what we're doing is using these user-generated challenges to make it a much more efficient process to engage people in a way that they've never been able to connect with brands for before. And I think we've got we'll talk a little bit more about how we're going to grow and expand the team and how we're going to monetize, which I actually think is a critical part, right? Is how we're actually going to make money doing this.
Yeah, and I think just again the end goal is making donations free. Right now, corporate giving in the whole pie of how much is actually given to philanthropic causes is so small. It's like around 10%. So if we can grow that pie, because that's where the money is, then we're ultimately creating better relationships between brands and consumers and letting nonprofits do what they do.
And I think, and as you forward ahead here, this isn't new either. I mean, if you look at a lot of the brands that we engage with today, I think Tom's shoes, if anybody has purchased a pair of Tom's shoes or Ben & Jerry's, that the impact that these brands have in having stronger, enhanced relationships with consumers is something that has been around forever. And in a lot of the research that we've done and a lot of the testing we've done lean startup style as far as being able to present this message to the users is that people prefer to buy from brands that have a philanthropic arm and are more apt to spend more in that sense. And not only that, they want to work for companies like that, like Apple with a lot of their giving programs. Intuit, for example, has a really strong We Care Give Back network that when you embed true philanthropy into the core of the offerings and the services, as well as the employee structure that you provide, that resonates really well. And brands are seeing a very, very meaningful return there.
So this is just a really rough size of the market. As I said, corporate giving is just a very small percentage of the total pie of all philanthropic giving. I think this is from 2010, and it actually grew at around 5 to 10% last year. So as of 2010, it was 309 billion. So it's a little bit bigger than that. But corporate giving was only 15 billion. So you can imagine what the advertising spend is. It's exponential the size of this market. So what we want to do is eat into corporate advertising and get them to redistribute into the philanthropic arm, because we're going to actually prove that there's an ROI there, and it's worth redistributing from, whether it's Google AdWords or Facebook ads or TV ads, and proving out that, it's worth investing in our network because we get a higher engagement, you guys are getting user-generated content, and all the things that come with it.
And I think if you look, so this slide's a little bit stale, so we've got to do some work here just to be honest, but you look at the competitive landscape, and there's a lot of people playing in the philanthropy space. I think that Causes is an example of this, where people know about Facebook Causes, but inherently Causes are supposed to be social, but Sean Parker didn't crack the niche on how to make it truly social. And I think it was primarily because it's one of push, where if we can figure out a way to engage brands in a way to make it easier for people to engage, that we can make it a model that is one that blows up.
And in this model, the user still has to pay for a donation, and the content that you're sharing still isn't that interesting. So what we want to do is put the onus on the user to create meaningful content that's related to a brand, and then share that out to earn donation dollars. So we have a bunch of other slides.
So we can wrap up.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of reasons why we're going to win. We're passionate. We're talented. We have expertise in the domain. Go-to-market strategy.
And this is where we're at right now. So we've run testing. We've seen that there's a lot of engagement around the social ads that we've launched on Facebook. So people are very interested in the concept. We've pitched to brands, and we've got 3 or 4 that are actually ready to pilot with us. Right now, we're at a point where we just need to work on our native app development. So we're looking for guys that are going to work through iOS, looking at specific platforms to take advantage of the native functionality in the phone to really deliver a great experience. So that's where we're focusing our dollars, and all of our forecasting. This is what we're seeking. So again, in this initial angel round, being able to really staff up and bring on engineers that are going to focus on our iOS development and Android as a platform when we officially go to market and make it happen. So I know we kind of flew there towards the end, but wanted to stop and see if there were any questions and maybe just get some general feedback.